Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute, but just been busy with work and life and trying to play catch up on reviews. I did go watch The Nun 2 last night, so let's dive into that. So The Nun 2 is a follow-up to the previous film in the Conjuring universe. Here we have Sister Irene returning to go face to face again with Valak, the demon nun. So let's just get into the obvious here. This is a typical blueprint sequel horror movie. It's kind of what I expected from the trailer. The Nun Part 1 I was okay with. I've caught up on the Conjuring movies. The Nun to me was just okay. I was intrigued by the character because we first see Valak in the Conjuring 2, and then of course, we expected to get the spin-off series as well. So, the Nun, it's the buildup of our core characters and introducing to this demon. And if you've seen The Nun, you know how it ends, and you know that it's going to lead up to the sequel. So, as a viewer going in, if you're very familiar with the first movie, you kind of know a lot of what's about to happen. And that is that M.A.C.E, which is a returning character, is basically possessed by Valak. Before Valak was essentially defeated by Sister Irene, she was able to take some possession over M.A.C.E. And now M.A.C.E is basically traveling through Europe looking for a particular artifact, which is going to give Valak the power that this demon needs to... I'm guessing, we don't really know. I mean, and I think that's where we get into the struggle with this movie, is this movie just feels stitched together in places. We get these moments of ideas and bringing in these new, Christian artifacts that the demon is looking for. I scratched my head through this watching this movie because I'm just wondering, like, where did they come up with these ideas? We don't really get the depth of understanding, like, why do we want to go this particular route to look for these particular things, go after the, reference these particular saints. I feel like we could use a little bit more in depth into really understanding what is Valak after, like what does this demon truly want. And I'm guessing, I would expect with, being a demon, this is a fallen angel, it stripped away of the power that it was given. I'm sure it just wants that power back and kill everyone. Again, we don't really know, like, what's the purpose of this demon, what's its mission. Does it want to take over a certain person? Does it want to kill a certain person? We don't really know. We just know that this demon is just basically killing everyone in its path to find a specific item. So like I mentioned, we do have some returning cast here. We do have Irene and M.A.C.E coming back, and now we have some new characters coming into play as well. We're pretty much set in one particular location, which is a building that has been converted to like a winery, and now it's a boarding school. And we're spending a lot of time with the children at this boarding school, following around Kate and her daughter Sophie and their relationship with M.A.C.E, and then the impact that it has on all of them. Irene has basically tried to get away from everything, and now there are just stories about what happened in the first nun and the mystery of what happened to this this nun that defeated Valak, and where did this nun end up, and of course the rumors and things like that. But higher powers know where Irene is, and they say, hey, Valak's back, you need to come defeat Valak again. And that's kind of where we go on this journey. We also have Storm Reed coming in as Sister Deborah. I do like Storm Reed, especially with Missing coming out earlier this year. I feel like this character was not utilized. Someone like Storm Reed, which is a really solid actress, and I don't know, it just felt like that was a missing piece. It felt like a lot of these actors and actresses just weren't given enough. And for the most part, I think what they deliver is fine, but we get so many moments that just, I don't know, it just felt like it was being wasteful for these people and their characters, and we could have done so much more. Now, let's kind of get into the rest of this and wrap this up. I would say the plus side is you kind of have this almost singular location movie. The bulk of this movie takes place in one area, and I thought it was utilized very well. I think some of the ways that they do your typical jump scares with the nun were a little clever, and they were kind of creepy. I mean, there were some pretty cool moments, I thought, but for the most part, they are your classic just music, sounds, kind of those cheap jump scares. And watching the trailer so much, you kind of expect a lot of these, which is kind of unfortunate. But there are some moments in the end that really show the power of Valak and how Valak is able to take on different forms and go after different people to really go after their fears, and I thought that was very clever. But I do have to mention, when we get to the artifact and we find it, and then it becomes this battle over it, this was another thing that was very confusing, is we don't really know, like, how are these people supposed to use this particular item, because we know that this item is associated with basically this blood relative. They're basically eyes that were removed from a saint, and then they were just kind of going after anyone that has some sort of blood relation to this saint. And so, it kind of opens up this world of, like, who is related to this saint. Can they use, these eyes as power? But I got so much of this anime influence, because this basically was like Valak going Super Saiyan at the very end, and it just gets really, really silly, very cartoonish. And, it's fine. It's entertaining. It's watchable, but the way that the nuns kind of bring down Valak, for me, was just, I don't know. I think it could have been cooler. It was just a little, you kind of build to this crazy moment, and then it gets downplayed a little bit. And then, of course, there's the question of, like, is Valak truly gone at this point? It's that question of seeing Irene walk around and looking at everything in more detail of, could Valak still be there? And we also get a post-credit, not really post-credit, but a mid-credit scene that, of course, ties us back into the Conjuring universe. So they're just going to keep making these movies. They're making money. They'll keep making them. One other thing that kind of altered my viewing experience is, as I was watching this movie, and I don't really know if this was intended, I didn't really ask anyone, but the screen felt very, I don't know, like that old school staticky approach. Like, not really staticky, but I would see these blue boxes kind of pop up here and there as I was watching the movie, mostly on the top screen. So it just kind of gave it that almost like a vintage vibe, and maybe that's intended, and maybe it could have just been something wrong with the projector at my theater. It made it a little uncomfortable to watch. It kind of got on my nerves, because I would focus more on that versus the actual movie. But all in all, The Nun 2, I did enjoy this a lot more than The Nun Part 1. This is actually one I wouldn't mind revisiting again, maybe trying to look deeper into some details. But again, it's, fairly predictable. I think there could have been more to the story here, more depth to really build out these characters and build out this universe. If they're going to continue making spin-offs like this, let's put more time and more depth into the stories versus just kind of coming up with various ideas, throwing them together, and then putting it out there. That's my take on it. The Nun 2, I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. Like I said, if you're a fan of this universe, I think you'll enjoy this one. Like I said, I like this one far better than The Nun Part 1. Maybe I need to do a ranking of the Conjuring movies. I like the Conjuring Part 1. When it comes to 2 and 3, I'm very in between on those, but again, I probably should rewatch them and do an official ranking. But let me know if you saw this, what did you think of it in the comments below. In terms of all of these movies in this universe, what is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to like and subscribe. I should get back on a better schedule soon, so I'm going to do some catch up and talk about some movies that I've seen recently, including Blue Beetle, Bottoms, maybe the Equalizer movies. These are ones that I've recently just watched. I never watched 1 or 2 when they first came out, so I've been playing a lot of catch up. And yeah, we'll just talk about those more. Would love to hear from you in the comments. Again, hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.